Welcome again, everyone. Another edition of the Silent Sports Video Blog is here. Thank you so much for watching. This is, of course, my YouTube channel as I go by Silent D Assassin, but my name is Troy West. Thank you so much for joining me. This is episode 17, and today's date is July 22nd, 2017. Thank you so much for watching. A lot happened in the sports world this week. So I'm going to try to touch on a little bit of everything. We'll talk a little baseball. It's only been a week, so ain't a lot going on, but just touch on a few things going on in baseball right now. Of course, big news yesterday in the NBA, Kyrie Irving. Well, it came out that he asked Cleveland to trade him. So we'll get into that and the latest on that. He's been off already, I've heard, so we'll talk about that today. Like I said, I try to fit in some NFL. I do the North divisions, the NFC and the AFC, so we'll talk about both of those divisions, what you should expect from both. And of course, we're going to talk about O.J. Simpson, who was granted parole on Thursday. I watched pretty much the whole hearing. I give my thoughts on that. And just, how I feel about him and everything that's going on around him. And just, touch on a few other things going on in sports. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining me again. I'm already on episode 17. Seeing like this year is going right by. When I get to my NFL, I'm going to announce some things that I want to plan on doing that have more interaction with everybody that watch, even though a lot of people ain't watching me right now. But hopefully when football season starts, things will get rolling. Let's start in the Major League Baseball. A lot happened in the last week. Still the same team, still in their positions where they are. The Dodgers still rolling, but they lost 2 straight to my Atlanta Braves. Like I said, I call them my Atlanta Braves. Like I said, I grew up an Atlanta Braves fan. And I was really pretty surprised. The Braves have won the first 2 games of this series. They play again today and Sunday, of course. So let's see if the Dodgers can bounce back. I think Kershaw pitches for LA on Sunday. I might be wrong about that. I know his start should be coming up soon. I'm proud of my Braves, though. Like I said, they've been playing pretty well. They right back to 500 again. Still might not reach a wild card spot, but if they keep playing like this, anything's possible. Maybe they can still compete for that. I really like their future, what they got around the team. Freddie Freeman's back, so that's good for them. But the Dodgers still rolling. Still had the best record in baseball. Just hit a little speed bump. They won 11 straight before the Braves came into LA and won the first 2 games of the series. So that's something to check out. All is white with the world in New York, as Aaron Judge, he hit a monstrous home run last night. His first home run since the Derby that he won. Now almost 2 weeks ago. I think he's still slumping though. I think he only still had 1 hit last night, 1 or 2. I think he's like 3 for 40 or something like that. But he had a home run last night, so all that stuff has been put to bed. Him struggling and stuff, at least for now, unless he still struggles and don't hit another one for a while. But they won last night. Good, like nothing else going on. Other teams still struggling. The Orioles, which is a team I root for as well because I'm from Baltimore, still struggling a little bit. Nationals, they lost last night, but they still rolling. Max Scherzer got beat last night, so that was a surprise. Chris Sale still dominating. He's the fastest, I think, ever in the American League to get to 200 strikeouts. I saw that, so a lot going on. Well, this week's just start heating up with trades. There's been already a lot of stuff out there with trades and rumors already. Who might get moved, who might, sell because they're out of it. The Cubs made a move. They've been playing better. They put them out there. They've been playing a lot better of late. I think they haven't lost yet since the All-Bro break. I might be wrong. Unless they lost last night, but they've been rolling, so Brewers better watch out. Even though I still like the Brewers to compete towards the end for that division, but the Cubs, it's gonna be a matter of time when they go on a run, which is like one right now. They got the pitcher Quintana from the Chicago White Sox, so teams are already starting to sell. So we'll see. Probably by this time next week. Excuse me. Some trades might have went down. I think the deadline is next Sunday, so the non-waiver. I think it is. I think the waiver. I think the waiver deadline is a month after this one. I think this is the non-waiver trade deadline coming up. So see a lot of moves. Should see teams that start to rise, or teams that don't think they got a chance start flipping their good players for prospects or what have you. So we'll see that within the next week. I say things will start to heat up in that category. Of course, I always try to fit some baseball in because it's in the middle of the season. Ain't nothing else really going on. But that's all for baseball. I only had a lot to say. Mike Trout came back. That slipped my mind. He's been playing well. So that's it for my baseball news for now. Really don't have any thoughts. Ain't nothing really went down nothing went down big this week. So we're gonna move on to the NBA, and of course the big story yesterday was the news that Kyrie Irving asked for a trade. They said he asked for it last week, but it just got out to the media. So very. I mean, I'm not surprised. I guess, can you be shocked or not surprised? I'm just shocked at the timing of it. Because if he felt this way, now's reports basically say he felt this way since last year. So why wait till now, to ask for a trade? I guess, like I said, I think winning, like most players say, winning cures everything. They won the championship last year. So maybe if they'd have lost, he probably would have heard this rumble last year, but they won it. So he went through the year, really didn't say a lot. And then the offseason, some people say why he ain't said before, before free agency started. Maybe he could have made a move, which is true, but just like, players are human. They had the right to change their mind, but I think this situation is, I don't want to use the word toxic, but I'd be surprised if he's still there by the beginning of the season. They said LeBron pretty much was blindsided by this, and people, taking shots at LeBron like, well, he don't have no room to talk, which he probably don't. Because, he left, both his situations without really letting everybody know around him. So, but I don't think he's there past next year anyway. I think Cleveland, I really think they should just start thinking about rebuilding. Like, let trade Kyrie. Go ahead and have LeBron. Don't trade LeBron. Even though some people say, well, they should try to trade LeBron. But LeBron ain't have it. If he don't want to go nowhere, he's going nowhere. He got no trade clause, so he ain't going nowhere. I would just try to rebuild now. Like, I would go ahead and whatever happened this year, the East is still weak. Probably don't, whatever you get back for Kyrie, probably be some good parts to put around LeBron. Kevin Love's still there. Maybe Kevin Love will step into more of a scoring role. And there'll still be a top 2 team in the East at least. Maybe you just make Boston better. I don't know, but Boston still got a lot of young pieces, and still don't know how all those pieces are going to work. They got Gordon Hayward now. The Wizards, like I said, I like the Wizards. I like their talent, but there's just something about them. They just don't never, once they get to a big moment, they just shrink for some reason. They don't get it done. So the Cavaliers will still be competitive in the East regardless, but I don't think Kyrie's going to be there by the beginning of the season. I just heard about a trade, a potential trade. It was a 3-way with Cleveland, Phoenix, and the Knicks, because Kyrie, it's 4 teams he want to go to: Minnesota, New York, Miami, and San Antonio, which don't make sense because he said he don't want to. Basically, they said specifically he don't want to play with LeBron, and he wanted to be more of a basically alpha dog, the number 1 option on the team. But if you go to pretty much all those teams, there's going to be somebody there to challenge that. So I don't understand. I don't want to say it's personal, but I think it's more toward than just wanting to be the lead dog. I think him and LeBron maybe just don't mesh or whatever, in his opinion. So, but I don't blame him as a player. Like, when you got the talent that he has, he thinks maybe he just thinks he can be more of the leader of the team or more the number one option on the team. And he's proven it that he's take the big shots in the pressure moments. So maybe he just thinks he can go to another level if he gets a situation. But all those situations, it's either young talent there like Minnesota, you got Jimmy Butler there, you got Towns, Wiggins. So that's, it's a lot of talent there. I think New York, the situation might be a little dicey, but I think he would be right another option there. But it's just the function, even though I like their new GM, even though it's still the Knicks, but I like the way he been talking. He been on interviews, I watched him. He seemed like he ain't gonna be for all that foolishness and nonsense. He seemed like a straightforward guy. He's not gonna bow down. I think he'd probably rather walk away. I don't think he's one to be controlled. That's just my opinion, what I think about him. And I heard a lot about him when he was in Sacramento, other places he's been in the NBA. I don't think he's gonna go for that nonsense. I think he might not got full power, which I don't, as a GM, I guess you want more power. He might not have the power that he wants, but I think he still ain't gonna be for that crap. At least that's my opinion, how I view him in any way. So, but like I said, the NBA keep getting interesting. I mean, it was just about to get quiet until this came out. It's been sort of quiet, NBA. It's getting like the NFL. It's pretty much no off season. Like, things gonna happen. So I think this story far from over. He might not get traded immediately, but I think if he really feels this way, a lot of people say, well, he can change his mind, but if you've been feeling some way for a year, for more than a year, I don't see how you're gonna change your mind. So I think he's gonna be gone, and I think LeBron's gonna leave next year. Cleveland need to just start thinking like, well, go for it all this year. After that, tear it down and rebuild. Because if LeBron leaves this time, I don't think he's coming back wherever he goes. People speculate San Antonio, the Lakers, wherever, but I think he's gone for good. He's not coming back to Cleveland as far as a player. So that's it with that. But like I said, I don't blame Kyrie Irving. I just hope, I kind of hope. I was thinking, I hope if he go, two of the teams in the West, two of the teams in the East. Spurs, I don't really think I don't see him fitting in there. That's just my opinion. But Miami, I think he can fit in there, but they got, strong personalities down there. So, but I hope he do go to one of those teams in the East to keep the East sort of, it'll make it more interesting. If he go West, then it's just going to be stockpiling the West. So, that story's far from over. Anytime any NBA news come out, I'll talk about it. But that's where I stand on that. I think he'll be gone. There's already trades out there. Report out of Minnesota was Karl Towns and I think it was Jimmy Butler. Well, I remember Karl Towns for sure. They've been talking to Irving and they went to their management and said, well, trying to make this happen. But I don't see what they would give up. Because I think Jeff Teague's contract's too big. The Cleveland ain't gonna want that contract. I was like, well, Chatham, had Jeff Teague in the deal, but I don't think that would work money wise. And Cleveland don't want to probably take up no more money anyway. So we'll see. Something's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be there. And if he is there, I don't know. That'd just be something that will hinder Cleveland to actually winning because it's going to be. But like I said, I'm not a professional player, so maybe they can work it out and still play, but I just think it's too far gone now. They can't be gone. Alright, so that's it for that. Let's move on to the NFL. Like I said, I've been trying to finish some NFL every week. I've been doing it 2 divisions a week. I did the East, so I did the AFC and NFC East. I did the AFC and NFC West last week. So now I'm on the North. And I'm going to start with the NFC North. Not a rumblings, coming out of Chicago. Really all the teams. Except for Minnesota. I haven't heard really a lot about Minnesota, but they're going to be an interesting team to me this year because no Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson pretty much was a franchise player. He's gone. Of course, he signed with the New Orleans Saints. Of course, we'll talk about them next week because they'll be in the South. I'll talk about the South teams next week. But Minnesota is an interesting team because their defense is still decent. Is Teddy Bridgewater will come back healthy and ready to play? There's a lot of question marks with that team. Detroit, of course, the stuff with Calvin Johnson, I don't understand. And I like Calvin Johnson. I think he's one of the best receivers I've ever seen. But all this stuff now, after you've been gone, it's been gone with 2 years. And you're talking about how Detroit didn't treat him this way, Detroit didn't treat him that way. Then the Lions reached out to him, saying, "Well, you can come to training camp." And the rumors about him saying he's still gonna play. So, I don't know. I think Detroit got a decent team. I like Matthew Stafford. Some of the pieces they got around him. The defense still got improved, but this division definitely took a couple of steps back. Chicago, of course, I think they signed Mr. Trubisky, but I think he was threatening on holding out their number 1 pick, of course. Well, number 2 pick. He was a number 2 pick, correct? Yeah. Yeah, so there's rumors about that. Of course, they signed Mike Leonard to that big contract, but they said that both of the guys have a chance to start. So, a little bit of drama there. The Bears been trying to rebuild back. It's just really Urlacher and everybody else left. Now, no Jay Cutler, so whole new regime there in Chicago. And Green Bay, of course, to me, it's the class of this division. Of course, all the little stuff that come out from the NFL.com, NFL Network, all the little lists and stuff with the quarterbacks and the players. And I be watching those sports networks, people debating on number 1, Brady or Rodgers. I pretty much stand with, I would say the majority. I think by accomplishments, Tom Brady can't be touched by no quarterback ever in history. But if you just look at it you watch football, you see, even though we just fans or even experts, they see talent. Somebody can be more talented, but somebody can have more accomplishments than you. So, like I say Tom Brady's the best, period. But I don't think it's crazy to say that Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback. He has more mobility. I think his arm is a little bit stronger than Brady's. Intellect, he might be getting at the Brady, but I just think, he just jumps off your screen by his plays. It's just his arm and how he rolls around the pocket. Just in my opinion, he's more talented than Brady, but that don't mean he's better. So it's not really answering the question, I guess. But Aaron Rodgers still is a great quarterback, but can't argue with the accomplishments. 5-1, 5 Super Bowls to 1. Even though Brady been around a little bit longer than Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers have had his opportunities, and he only got 1 Super Bowl, so it's hard to argue against that as well. So. But, Packers, of course, definitely got to be the favorite in that division. Like I said, I get my official predictions later on, near the beginning of the season. But, yeah, so it's just rumblings for all the 4 teams. Let's move on to the AFC North, of course, a division I know well. I'm a Ravens fan, and I guess I'll start with the Ravens. I like what they did for offseason, picking up Jeremy Maclin. Hearing a lot of stuff about Flacco looking good and all that, but they what the Ravens are, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to put it all on Flacco, but he has to have a better regular season. What we went? I think 8-8 the last 2 seasons, so he got to step it up. He got to come better. Like I said, in my opinion about Flacco, I think he's a good quarterback, but I just think, to me, when I watch him and watch other quarterbacks, especially the good ones, not saying he's not good, but it seems like I'm not saying he don't, maybe it's coaching, I don't know, but me just looking at it, and I look at other quarterbacks, especially the good ones, they make checks at the line of scrimmage, they do stuff. It's like they take control of the offense. It's like Flacco just go with the whatever play is called, he just go with it. I don't see him never chasing any plays, or rarely, I don't see a lot of checks at the line or none of that stuff. And I'm not saying that means you're a bad quarterback, but I feel like most of the good ones does that type of stuff. Check into different plays, you know, line protection, all that stuff. So, and it just seemed like he's lackadaisical during the regular season. Now the playoffs, you can put him up against the greatest. Like I said, he got the most road wins ever by a quarterback. I mean, in the playoffs, he's a whole different person. It seems like his whole attitude is different. Like he's just more motivated. Maybe that's what it is. The regular season does not motivate him, but the regular season is important, especially in the NFL. It's only 16 games. You gotta put yourself in a position to make the playoffs, so you can perform in the playoffs. So I think he just need to step it up as far as that mentally more than physically. He got probably one of the biggest arms in the league. He have it always. In my opinion, his talent around him could be a little bit better, but he got a decent receiving core. Running backs are decent. You know, I was hoping we'd have got LeGarrette, but he went to Philadelphia. But I think they definitely will compete for a wild card, maybe even for this division. But they gotta get over the regular season hump. He gotta turn it up, you know. Period. That's why he always get criticized because his contract and all that, which is valid. You know, he gotta play better. They don't pay you just for the playoffs, bro. You gotta get to the playoffs, and the last 2 years we haven't made it. So move on to Cincinnati Bengals. So that just came to my mind, I guess. Not doing this in no particular order, but of course a lot of off-season drama. Of course they drafted Joe Mixon, domestic violence, you know, allegations he had in college. Andy Dalton, let's see what he do this year. AJ Green's still there. They still got a decent team. Pat Jones got a little trouble. He got suspended, I think it was just yesterday, just for the first game of the year. He's a remarkable player. Like, imagine if he wouldn't have gotten all the trouble he got into his career. He's been a decent player. Yeah, and they say he started all 16 games last year, which is a little bit of a surprise. They got a talented team. You know, Burfict's still there. The front line's still pretty good. It's just, well, like I said, I'm not a big Marvin. I like Marvin Lewis because of course, he was a Raven. He was a defensive coordinator when we won the Super Bowl in 2001. But I think there's people out there that criticize him. You know, he's been there, 11, 12 years. They never won a playoff game. I mean, that's sort of rare. You usually get fired by now. But I figure if they fire him after last year, really the last 2 years, I don't see them firing him at all. Like, you know, and I don't blame Cincinnati for it, because if you just want stability, I mean, I think it's good to stick with somebody. But when you don't perform, you know, it's not fair to people before you and after you. You know, that's trying to get jobs. You know. And I support any black coach because, of course, I'm a black man, so I want to see more black coaches, you know, in the league. But he got to get it done. And this year, I don't know, for some reason I just think they're gonna take a little bit of a step back, you know. So we'll see. Cleveland Browns, might as well get them out the way. Still rebuilding. Even though I like what they're doing, you know, behind the scenes, you know, they got Brock Osweiler, you know, he didn't play well last year, but he's still a decent quarterback. See what they do with, they got some young talent there. Of course, Josh Brown, I think his last name was up with him. I think he's facing another suspension or something again. I don't know. So I think something happened with him. I had to check that out. But of course, they just got a young team, up and coming team. Just hope they stick with it and don't make a whole bunch of changes. See, the thing with them is they make a lot of changes. I think they need to stick with Hugh Jackson and see how things play out. Let's just go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. To me, they're the favorite in this division. Le'Veon Bell thing finally sort of came to an end for now. He will be playing on a fast shot tag, but they still threatening to hold out. Big Ben, I think he's one of. I think he would be surprised if he retired this year after this year, but I give him 2 years tops. I think after the next year he's done. So I think he's already thinking about retirement. Like I said, they got the most talented team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Antonio Brown, of course. Martavis Bryant supposed to come back. There was a little drama between him and Big Ben a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully they work that out. But like I said, I don't like the Steelers, but like I said, I respect good organization. They got a good organization there. They're gonna be the favorite in this division. I think the Ravens have a shot to compete with them, but it's gonna be tough. Their weakness is on the defensive side of the ball, but still they got the most talent, so we'll see where we'll go down with that. Like I said, I'll get deep into my predictions. That Sunday before the season, I think the date, if I look it up on the top of my head, is the 3rd. So September, we're doing a big show. It's cover all 32 teams, and I'm also going to announce right here. I'm gonna put it together once it's available. If ESPN's still doing it, I got the ESPN app, so download that. You know, you got if you play fantasy football and all that, but it's a game they do called Pick'em, which you can basically pick games every week. So I'm going to open up a room, have all my people that watch compete against me. I'll be on there picking games. I might try to come up with a prize or something, so people will be just doing it for, because a lot of people probably go compete unless there's some prize involved. So I'm gonna try to get some type of prize or some way to work that in there. I'm still working on it, but I'll definitely give you more details. But I want to really do that. Have the people that watch. I'm gonna set up a practice goal so I know that it's people that's actually watching in the room. So I'm gonna do straight up. That means you just pick winners and losers. There's no spread, not against the spread, none of that. Just to make it more simple, just pick the winner or the loser every week, and the winner that did the season, I'm gonna try to have some type of prize, either give a game away or something, near the end of the season. So definitely get more details as the weeks come on. Definitely want to do that. Alright, let me stop rambling now, as I want to get into, of course, another big story that was just a few days ago. Of course, O.J. Simpson getting parole. After spending basically 9 years in jail for the armed robbery and kidnapping charges back in Las Vegas, back in, 2008. Well, like I said, O.J. Simpson has been lightning rod, since the 60s, since the late 60s, since he started coming up. Because basically, during his time, he didn't stand for social injustice. He was just wanting to be himself. He ain't want to get involved in civil rights movement or anything like that back in his time. Like I said, I'm only 33 years old, so I wasn't born until 83. So I only know OJ as basically, if you remember the Naked Gun movies, that's when I really started knowing, okay, it's OJ. And then I think my dad would say, well, he used to play football, this and that. I do remember him being on sidelines on, with games and stuff, where they show highlights of that too. Him being a sideline reporter. But I remember him more for those movies. And then, of course, the 95 thing, when he, of course, got acquitted for the double murder. I was about, in 95, I was about 12 years old. And I remember it because I was in school, Grade 3 middle school, which is no longer that, but that's where I went here in Baltimore. And it was a teacher, English teacher. I think I remember her name, but I'm not going to say her name, And I don't want to say she was racist, but, it was a lot of, basically it was like, the black people was for OJ and the white people was for, which is sort of understandable. But, it came more of a race thing, black against white at the time. And all of us in the class, we was watching the trial every day. We was barely doing any schoolwork, which I didn't mind that either, because I was angry and I was reading. Like I said, I wasn't, well, I guess you could call it language arts, but they call it reading, but I don't like language arts. I don't like the write and all that, so I didn't like reading, so I was cool with watching it, and I still wasn't really watching it. I was just, but anyway, to make a long story short, when the verdict came out and he got acquitted, I just remember how angry she was. Like, she just barely talked to us the rest of the year. Even though it was the end of the year, I think. I don't know around the time it got acquitted, but they was close to the end of the school year, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong, but I just remember her just not being the same person after that. Because of course the majority of the whole school was pretty much black. So, and she just seemed like she just became a different person. She just came in, told us. There was no interaction with us anymore like that. Like, I remember that was just crazy. But and at the time, of course, I understand everything. Honestly, I just heard what people were saying. People were telling me, well, they set them up, and I didn't know about the LA riots a few years before that with Rodney King. I didn't really know a lot about it. I've heard about it, but I didn't know a lot about it, the details of it. I watched all the documentaries on OJ, most of them, and I started to learn, like, oh, okay, so that's why basically, he had some good lawyers, man. Like, they exploited the racism and everything else of the LAPD, and then the jurors, I think some of them was black, so he got off. Now personally, do I believe he did it by seeing all the documentaries and stuff? I'll say yes, but I guess to me it's still somewhat reasonable doubt, in my opinion. I mean, but like I said, if he did it, man, he deserved to be in jail right now. But unfortunately, our system is corrupt. Period. Like, the government, the law, and all that. I mean, it all has flaws in it. And if you're good enough to exploit those flaws, I don't really think it matters what your race is. As long as you got good lawyers that can exploit that stuff, you can pretty much beat almost any charge, unless it's just cold hard evidence. I mean, it was evidence there, but it wasn't nothing to me that was cold hard. Like, okay, there's no way this guy didn't do this. So, and his lawyers exploited that, and that's why he's he's about to be a free man now. But the stuff he did with the robbery, that was just dumb. He just was stupid. Like, he should have found another way to get his stuff or whatever. He should have found another way to do that. And they got payback on him. Basically try to make them pay for that, which is not right if you believe in the system. Once you get acquitted or once you found not guilty, you're not guilty. Pretty, no matter what we feel or what we think. But he set himself up, But like I said, I think he'll be okay coming out. He's 70 years old. I just hope he's smart enough just to stay out of everything, stay away from certain things, man. Don't get yourself in this type of trouble, just lay low if possible. He said at the hearing, that he ain't interested in reality TV or anything, no interviews or none of that stuff. But we'll see. Once you get out, it's probably a whole different story, so I just hope he stays out of trouble. He's supposed to be going home to Florida with his family. At least that's what a lot of reports are saying. He's not going to stay in Nevada. So we'll see. Of course, he's supposed to get released this October. I wish him the best regardless. People are human. They make mistakes. I hope they make that big mistake with the killings, but honestly, that's the way life works. Sometimes you just never know stuff. Just never find out the truth. Even though a lot of stuff point to he was the culprit in that case, but the fact of the matter is he was found not guilty, so we gotta let it go. And to the families of the victims, of course, I've definitely not talked to you guys, because I can't imagine the last 20 years has been like for those people, so I'm not going to sit up here and say, well, they should just forget about it, but it's the right way or wrong way of getting justice. Unfortunately, things didn't work out, but well, if you believe in God and that type of stuff, he sort of got calmer when he wound up being in jail anyway, but he'll get his, just try to move on with your life. And I said the word try, but OJ always be long as he's in the news in some type of way, or if he do something, you know, he's always going to be in the news. I mean, because of the racial divide, and even he tried to separate himself from his own race, so he's just going to always be a polarizing figure, you know, for some reason, in my opinion. But of course, that story is long from over as well. We'll see how he gets out here in the real world and deal with it. But him being, I guess I put his age into account. I just think he's too old. He can't be that dumb to do something stupid again and put yourself back in jail. So, alright, so I'm about to wrap this video up. I've been talking for a while. By my estimation, I've been on, I'm probably pushing about 40 minutes. I try not to talk so much, but that's why, you know, I changed my format and did it this way. And like I said, I apologize for the music again. I explained it before. It's an app, you know, on the PlayStation 4 called the Playroom, when you use your camera and you play these little games with these little robots. I had to clear all the robots off first, or that would have been in a way as well. But I just like to do it this way. I was recording my first couple of episodes is on my phone. I recorded it, but you only get about 9 minutes, and it just, I don't like to have to rush and talk. So, but you know, just as far as my final thoughts, nothing really. Like I said, other things going on in sports. You know, I've probably heard about the Hugh Freeze, the Ole Miss coach, resigning. Not surprised by that, but just more and more stuff keep coming out now. He was supposedly called the escort service, and that pretty much got him out of there. They was going to fire him if he had quit. So a lot of violations and stuff. Like Ole Miss, I think they're going to be done for a while. Of course, they already banned from this year, from postseason, from bowl game, I guess, or whatever. So hopefully that story is far from over. Hopefully it just turn the right way instead of the wrong way. Of course, college football, I like college football, but I'm more of an NFL football guy. But I like college football. I don't really get into it till middle of the season, towards the end. You know, when the BCS thing come out and teams are fighting for the last 4 spots. But I'll talk about it during the year. But that's probably the biggest story in college football right now. Golf is one of the majors, the Open, that's going on right now. I think Jordan Spieth was leading my last check, so that's still going on. Congratulations to Roger Federer last week. He won the Wimbledon, he won Wimbledon last week, which was a big achievement for him. I said I broke it that Venus didn't win, but she was in the final last week. Like I said, he's been on top of the tennis game for years. So him, Nadal, Serena, and Venus, definitely the top players in tennis the last 15, 20 years. So nothing else come to my mind. I think that's it. I want to thank everybody always for watching. It is Saturday. Plans I got for the day, I'm gonna try to get some crashing today. I don't know how long it was available, but I downloaded that Stobie asset level from the original Crash Bandicoot, and that level was brutal. I played through it. I was gonna try to record, but it was such a brutal level. I tried again and finished that. I will record that and probably do another live video. One of my live videos got taken down by YouTube because I was playing music in the background, and I don't have copyright stored, of course, so they told me I had to take it. Basically, they took it down, so I took it down completely. So I don't want to wind up getting in trouble, wind up can't post anything for a while. Speaking of that, I at least got a whole another week of posted things, because I got a stitching on my internet, so hopefully I can figure that problem out in a week or so. But if I do wind up being off, it won't be for long. So of course, countdown to Mayweather and McGregor. That's 5 weeks from today. Or is it 4 weeks now? No, it's 5 weeks. It was 6 weeks last week, so we got 5 weeks now to that. Probably around the same amount for the NFL. Lots going on. So, hey, like I said, check out my channel for the rest of my stuff. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Thanks so much. I hope y'all enjoy your weekend. And thanks so much for watching. I'm Troy West. Episode 17 is over with. Won't be back till next Saturday. But during the NFL, like I said, I announced already, I'm going to do 2 shows a week. I'm going to do a Wednesday show and my normal Saturday show to get ready for the NFL. I've previewed the Thursday night day. Wednesday one will be more about the Thursday night football game. And like I said, I will open up a pick 'em if ESPN is doing it this year, but they ain't put it up yet, so I'm not sure. But if so, I'll definitely let y'all know. Thank you so much for watching. That's it. I'm gonna wrap it up. Troy West said thank you. Solid Day Assassin on YouTube. Talk to you guys again. Enjoy your weekend.